You've been praying about the same thing for months. You've cried out. You've done everything right, and nothing moves. Maybe you've even asked, Lord, what else can I do? Well, what if the problem isn't your prayer? What if prayer was only ever half of it? There's a discipline Jesus himself practiced, the early church practiced, and most of us have quietly dropped it. Fasting. Now wait, before you close this video, hear me out. Fasting is not punishment, it's not a diet, and it's not earning points with God. By the end of this video, you'll know what fasting really is, why it unlocks what prayer alone doesn't. And you'll know exactly how to start this week, even if you've never skipped a single meal for God in your life. And stay to the end, because there's one mistake that cancels a fast before it even starts. Let's clear the confusion first. Fasting is not a hunger strike to pressure God into moving. God is not impressed by an empty stomach. And fasting is not a diet with a Bible verse on top. Here's what fasting actually is, and this changes everything. Fasting is replacing physical hunger with spiritual hunger. Think of your life as a table. Every appetite you have sits at that table. Food, entertainment, comfort, noise. Fasting is choosing to clear a seat. Not because the food is evil, but because someone is standing at the door. And hear the whisper you'll get the moment you consider it. You? Fasting? You won't last a day. That whisper is not information. It's fear, because the enemy knows what happens when you clear the table. Look at who fasted and when. Jesus before launching his entire ministry. Matthew 4. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. The Son of God chose an empty stomach before he chose his first sermon. And notice something most people miss in Matthew 6. Jesus said, when you fast, not if. He assumed his followers would do this, the same way he said, when you pray and when you give. Esther called a fast before she risked her life before the king. Daniel turned his face to God, seeking him by prayer and pleas for mercy with fasting. And in Acts 13, the early church was worshiping and fasting when the Holy Spirit spoke. And church history was never the same. Now, here's the part you need to get, or none of this works. Fasting doesn't change God. Fasting changes you. It doesn't twist God's arm, it opens your hands. Every hunger pang becomes an alarm clock for your soul. Your body says, feed me, and you answer, God, you're what I truly need. That's why fasting unlocks things prayer alone doesn't. It's not because God demands suffering. It's because hunger keeps you awake to Him all day long. Prayer talks to God. Fasting stays with Him between the prayers. If something in you is stirring right now, that's not hunger. That's holy hunger. Type, Lord, I'm hungry for you in the comments. And let's get practical, because the next 5 steps are your starter guide. Step 1. Start small. Do not try 40 days. That was Jesus in the wilderness, led by the Spirit, not you on a Tuesday. Start with 1 meal. Skip lunch once this week. That's it. That's a real fast. And if you have a health condition, are pregnant, or your doctor says no, hear this clearly. God sees the heart, not the calories. Fast your phone. Fast Netflix. Fast social media. For a day. The table has many seats. Food is only one of them. Step 2. Name the breakthrough before you begin. A fast without a purpose is just a skipped meal. Before you start, write 1 sentence. Lord, I'm bringing you bunk. The marriage, the decision, the fear, the addiction, the son who walked away. Fold the paper, put it in your pocket, carry it through the fast. Now your hunger has a name, and every pang points at it. Step 3. Replace. Don't just remove. This is where most beginners fail. If you skip the meal but scroll your phone through lunch, you didn't fast. You just got hungry. The mealtime is the meeting time. When the hunger comes, you go to the empty chair. Open the Word. Pray the sentence in your pocket. Sit with Him. 20 minutes with God instead of 20 minutes with a sandwich. That's the actual exchange. Step 4. Keep it secret. Jesus was direct about this in Matthew 6. Anoint your head and wash your face, that your fasting may not be seen by others, but by your Father who is in secret. No announcements, no spiritual status updates, no suffering face. The fast is a secret meal between you and God, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Step 5. Break it gently, and expect Him to move. When the fast ends, don't celebrate with a feast. Eat light, say thank you, and then watch. Not for lightning, for movement. A softened heart, a clearer mind, a door that quietly unsticks. Because when you fast, you're not performing for God. You're making room for Him. Now, the mistake I promised you. The one that cancels a fast before it starts. It's fasting to manipulate instead of fasting to meet. Here's the test. Are you skipping meals to force God's hand or to find God's face? Israel made this exact mistake, and God called it out through Isaiah. They fasted and complained. Why have we fasted and you see it not? And God answered, This is the fast I choose, to loose the bonds of wickedness, to let the oppressed go free. In other words, a fast that doesn't soften your heart toward God and people is just a hunger strike. God isn't moved by an empty stomach. He's moved by an emptied heart. So check your motive at the door, and then walk in. Let's put your starter guide on one page. Start small. One meal, one day. Name the breakthrough. Give your hunger a direction. Replace, don't remove. The mealtime is the meeting time. Keep it secret. It's a meal for two. Break it gently and watch for quiet movement. Do that once, and you'll understand why believers have done this for 3,000 years. Not to earn love, to make room for it. So here's where this lands. That prayer that's been stuck for months? Maybe it doesn't need more words. Maybe it needs more room. You can keep asking with a crowded table. Or you can pull out a chair, skip one meal this week, and meet the one your soul was hungry for all along. Stop just asking. Start making room. If you're in, this is your move. Type, Lord, I'm hungry for you in the comments. That's not a comment, that's a reservation. And share this with one person whose prayers feel stuck. You already know who. Subscribe to Faith Inc. if you want your faith fed every single week. And hold on to this promise as you go. Matthew 5, verse 6. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Satisfied. Not shamed, not starved. Satisfied. And here's what happens when you finally clear the table. He sits down. See you in the next one.